得好準嘅，所以多十幾廿個，少十幾廿個冇所謂嘅，around 嘅啫。OK，多少少冇所謂嘅。你冇太誇張就得㗎啦，你冇我叫你寫600字，你寫咗100幾個字。我上次嗰份功課咧真係有咁樣㗎，寫咗100幾個字就交咗俾我啦，咁就唔係幾開心啦，係咪？咁個 chart 咧，你見到嗰啲 chart 咧，number of words inside the chart 就唔可以超過200字嘅，唔可以超過200字。OK，咁成分 proposal 咧就冇超過4000字得噶啦，你哋自己去執啦，冇咩所謂。OK，你少呢個4000字係冇超過啊，你係 include 埋全部嘢嘅，因為你之前有 background 有 methodology，全部嘢你都有齊晒啦，都寫到七七八八啦。其實今次寫嘅嘢咧，應該都係個600字嘅 plan，唔超過600字嘅 plan，同埋個 abstract 200幾個字啫。咁 total 寫嘅嘢其實1000幾個字啫，再加埋 include table 唔計嘅。table 啊、picture 啊、figure 啊，全部都唔計字數噶，全部都唔計字數噶。OK，好啦，哦，我見到有人問我冇得改，誒、resubmission 咧，其實我 set 咗係可以嘅，可以 resubmit 嘅。你如果 resubmit 唔到咧，你可以 contact我，我幫你 delete 咗佢，你再交都得嘅，都可以嘅。之前有同學得啊，可以 resubmit，都有同學 contact 我，叫我幫佢開翻都有嘅。好，OK，咁我哋繼續啦，我哋就要開始講 PowerPoint 啦。開翻我嘅 PowerPoint 啦。喺呢度 share 出嚟啊，share 出嚟。啊，見唔見到啊？見到噶嘛？Overall planning，咁我哋今日係最後一份噶啦。 哦，頭先斷咗，而家聽唔聽到我啊？誒，有冇聲？Hello，OK，
聽到啊。
好，太好啦，都睇到係咪啊
係啊，聽到同睇到啊。
？OK，太好啦，好啦，我哋繼續。So today we will talk about the final proposal, all the components, everything we need to be careful about. So the proposal, we will finish the proposal by this lecture. Okay. So what should we do after this lecture? So I will give you some hints. I will give you some tips. And after that, you need to write your research proposal, your final research proposal. Your final research proposal should involve the research plan, the Gantt chart, the abstract, and you need to revise your research proposal, the ones you have already wrote. And also you need to polish the formatting of your proposal as well as the grammar, the English. Okay, so abstract, research plan, Gantt chart, we will talk it in the following slides. I want to talk about the formatting and the grammar first. I understand most of you are not familiar with academic writing. Okay, I totally understand. It's really difficult. I don't like writing as well. Okay, but I think the useful, some powerful tool is some polishing website or dictionary apps. Okay, because I have met a lot of assignments. Like the sentence is really long, really long. I mean, each full stop, the period, they have 3 sentences. They combine 3 sentences together. The subject is changing. It's changing. Okay, but it's not make sense. So no need to use very difficult English. Just the simple English is okay. Just make sure your meanings is delivered clearly. Okay, delivered clearly. 因為之前好正常，好多時候都見到一段成段講緊半版紙，我揾唔到一個 full stop 啊，我揾唔到一個 period 啊，就係全部係啲 that which with 跟住啲 comma 就好複雜嘅英文，但係個結構係錯嘅，嗰個 structure 啊，嗰個 grammar 係錯嘅，佢已經唔同 sentence 㗎啦。一個 sentence 佢點樣係 define 一個 sentence 咧？你個主語冇轉過，邊個冇轉過？你講緊邊個人做過啲乜嘢，跟住你如果係 comma 啊，另外一個人又做咗啲乜嘢，另外一個 comma， 哇個 experiment 係點樣 set 嘅？其實係已經講緊幾句嘢㗎啦。OK， 所以唔需要咁複雜嘅英文，唔需要。OK， 你如果好 confident， 你自己真係好 confident。你嘅英文好好嘅 ，OK。但係你如果話個英文唔係話好 confident， 唔係native speaker 啊，或者唔係成日咁樣寫文，咁你就要小心啲啦。我寧願你哋用好簡單嘅英文就得㗎啦。OK。咁呢個係一個問題，同埋我有少少建議啊。你哋寫完之後唔係好 confident 嘅，我建議你哋可以用翻一啲 website 或者一啲 software 係可以幫你做 grammar check 嘅。grammar check 係 free 嘅，好多時候都係 free 㗎。佢有啲 dictionary 嗰啲 software 啊，或者有啲 website 啊，你去 search free grammar check， 佢就有嘅。咁佢有啲地方會提一提你呢個詞應該係單數，應該係複數，應該係有 a 啊，有 the 啊喺前面，有啲係which，有啲係 he does，he did， OK， 你冇 he do something，OK， 咁呢啲 grammar 咧，佢會幫你 check， 你可以 based on 佢俾嘅 suggestion 去 decide 你係咪要 follow 咯。OK， 咁呢個係會令到你份嘢好快的咁樣嚟就俾人睇得明啊，或者睇得再 clear 啲嘅。OK， 呢個係我嘅一個 tips， 你哋可以用。我唔覺得呢啲 software 係好，你冇覺得呢啲 software 好冇技術含量啊？呢個佢令到你慳翻啲力，係慳翻啲嘢。你費事你坐喺度嗰度一個字喺嗰度拗，咁佢一個字去嗰度諗，哦呢個詞用得啱唔啱啊？個 grammar 得唔得啊？你嘥好多時間，咁不如用翻啲 software 可以去 check， 可以幫下手，冇問題㗎。OK， OK， so we will move on the research plan. Research plan. After you decide your methodology, after you think through the whole process of your experiment, of your research method, you need to write down the plans for each month or each week. Okay, for each week. And you need to think about your milestones. Okay, because every week you come back. Every day you come back to the lab, you water your plants. But what is your milestones? Okay, so maybe after 3 weeks, I have already finished my lab. But my milestone is I got the indicators such as the height, fresh weight, dry weight, or any other indicators. You need to think through it. Okay, so milestone, like the tree risk assessment, tree risk survey. The milestone should be the first one. You should have a lot of milestones, not only one. Should be around maybe 5. 5 is reasonable. Okay, so maybe the first one is I have pre-trip. I find the suitable location to do the tree risk assessment. Okay, so this is my first milestone already. The second one, I will go out for field data collection. So I will go out for tree survey. What form I will use, what kind of indicator I will involve. Okay, and the third milestone could be I made a summary and all the information is have a chart, box chart, box plot, reader chart. Okay, and the fourth one, maybe I conducted the comparison analysis with the data I collected and the other one's data. Okay, you should have milestones. Milestones 就係你想達成嘅目的，你個 achievement. Okay, and expected findings. What kind of data you want to get? So first of all, I have the research question. I have the main research question as well as the sub-questions, right? So my findings should be the answer to this kind of questions, right? My findings should be the answers to these questions. OK， 你問咗問題，我嘅答案，我揾到嘅答案 ，suppose 係可以解決我自己嘅問題。Okay, so my expected findings, what kind of data I want to get, what kind of indicator I want to use, which variables. Okay, so this kind of findings should have some specific trend. Okay, so you need to involve this in your study plan as well. How? Like in which month I will collect the data for which variables. Like I will collect the DBH from July to September. I will collect the temperature in this study area. From October to November, I will collect the tree information, species, plant information. Okay, so think about what kind of variables you need to have and when will you get it? When will you get it? What do you need to write? What do you need to write? So for the coming assignment, the final research proposal, you need a study plan, right? You need a research plan. And a research plan, like I said, you should involve a Gantt chart. Gantt chart. This Gantt chart will help you to solve this kind of questions. What do you need to have? What do you need to do? What will you do in the following months? Okay, so let's move on to Gantt chart. Gantt chart is a chart showing your research activity. This is a first example. I have involved a lot of different kinds of Gantt chart. All of this, you see, all of this could be treated as a Gantt chart. Okay, so let's see the first one. This one, you have your target, you have your objects. So for example, I need to do the literature review for the first 2 weeks. And then I could buy some plants, okay, from this week to this week. I could do some pre-trip for the selection, for the field trip data, for the site selection. Okay, maybe have some overlap. And do a field data collection, field data collection. Okay, from which month to which month. For the experiment, which month to which month. Okay, maybe you will do the experiment on fertilizer. Okay, so I will, here you could involve the description, like I will use 5 kinds of fertilizer for 3 weeks. Okay, maybe 3 weeks. And then data analysis, statistic analysis, conclusion, doing the proposal writing, PowerPoint, poster writing. Okay, you have a timeline. So the whole progress should be from August to late April or early May, very early May. Okay, you could separate by yourself. This is Gantt chart. This one, this table, you could see this is very simple, only use the keywords. In the following ones, you will see the detailed ones. Okay, like this. The main purpose of this aspect, and they have sub-questions, sub-tasks. Okay, and the length. Sometimes you use different colors, different symbols. Okay, because some is by you, some is by your supervisor, or some is done by the RA. Okay, sometimes you and your classmate working on the same data set, and you have data set A, he has data set B, and at the end, each of you will get both of the data and do your data analysis separately. Okay, so B is done by the other student. So you need to indicate, oh, this task will be finished by me, and this task will be finished by Louis. So for example, I applied a funding with Lewis. Okay, so we have PI, we have co-I. Okay, so they said, oh, I will write 5 papers after this journal, after this project. The first 3 is done by Lewis. Last 2 will be wrote by me. Okay, so maybe in the first year there's 1 paper, second year there's 2, and the last year have the other papers. Okay, and then we will hire some RA, and the RA will do the data collection. Okay, something like that. Something like that. Okay, you could use different colors, different symbols to indicate the work will be done by different people. Okay, and you could involve some words. You see some words inside. Okay, so maybe here I said literature review. Here I write equipment purchase. Okay, like field data collection, like this. And this one we explained. You have the data. You have a subtasks. Okay, you combine them together. Okay, and you could use different color as well. Like we said, different color, different symbols, text. Okay, both are your tools. Both are all of this are your weapons. Okay, and sometimes you could write down your milestones here as well. Like first one, I will write literature review in the first 2 weeks. Then I have my milestone 1. I will have the chapter 1 and 2 will be ready. Okay, so I involved milestone 1. And then I do some plan purchase, experiment, and then my milestone 2 is I collected the indicators. Like, okay. Okay. And this involved the relationship between research activity. OK， 就好似你哋讀書嘅時候一樣，有啲科目一定係 Year 1讀咗，你哋之後先可以讀嘅。譬如話School of Geo 嘅，你哋有 English 1、English 2、Professional English。你要讀完 English 1，你先可以讀 English 2嘅，冇可能你讀完 English 2就翻去讀 English 1嘅。OK， 我哋自己啲科目都係啦，你要讀咗嗰啲Plant Physics，讀咗Biodiversity， 讀咗 Basic Chemistry， 你先可以去讀其他咩 Physiology 啦、Nutrition 啦呢啲嘢嘅，係咪？咁你有個 logic 喺度 ，OK， you have relationship. Some tasks is a fundamental ones. As long as you finish this task, you could start the second part. Okay, so for example, I need to do experiment. Plan experiment. Before that, I need to have the purchase. Okay, I need to purchase the plant. I need to buy the seeds. I need to have the seed germination. And then I will have the comparison test. I will put the fertilizers. Okay, so they have the relationship. They have a relationship. Okay, and sometimes you keep some buffer. You leave some buffer zone. Okay, buffer, what does buffer mean? So originally, I think I will do the experiment in the square B. like the 7th month to 15th month. But I considered current situation of COVID-19. So maybe our campus will be closed. I cannot go back. So I leave 1 or 2 months for buffer. Okay. Sometimes I'm writing literature review. I planned in my original plan, I think I could finish it in 1 week. But after you do the paper search, you finding the papers, you see, oh, there are too much papers, more than I expected. I need more time. So I will leave some buffers. Like I keep another 2 weeks as buffer zone. But normally, the buffer zone will not affect the other tasks. Like this one. Okay, this is a buffer zone. This area, during this time period, you also have the other works. During this time period, you not only focusing on this task, you have the other tasks started already, conducted at the same time. Okay, this is a buffer zone. Okay, you could think about it as well. You could design it by yourself. Okay, and progress. You could involve some progress, another column showing progress, like during this week, the draft version of this paper is finished. Okay, so 50% is completed. 70% is finished. Okay, you could have this kind of percentage. And how can we create a Gantt chart? You could use Excel. Excel is easy to use. Okay, Excel is easy to use. You could have different rows. You could separate. You could combine different cells together. OK，你 Excel 咧，譬如我呢度有 task 1、task 2、task 3，咁我呢度我可以 combine 咗一齊作為 later literature review。OK，我可以 literature review 關於邊一啲 terms 嘅。OK，咁我呢啲 combine 一齊變咗一個嘅空格，咁就係去 prepare 嘅。OK，每一個 task 係乜嘢 ？OK，都得嘅，可以嘅。Excel 就可以嘅，你可以去 adjust height。好多佢個長高啊、長度啊，你可以去自己 design 一個 Gantt chart。OK， so this is do your plan. When you do your research plan, do not think too far. Do not think too much. OK， 呢個係好正常嘅，我哋 expect 嘅係咁樣啦。但係其實你 actually 做到嘅，其實就係不易嘅啫。OK， 係不易嘅啫。所以咧 ，make sure you involved a Gantt chart in your study plan. Oh, sorry, in your final research proposal. Okay, a Gantt chart showing your research plan. Okay, so even you have involved the Gantt chart in your final research proposal, you also need to have words, have paragraphs to explain it. OK， 你就算有呢個Gantt chart，你都要解釋。我之前講咗，全部嘅 figures 都係要有解釋嘅。 你就算有呢個做完啦，你都要再去用文字解釋少少，解釋少少。OK？好啦，關於嗰間 chart 有冇問題？間 chart 有冇問題？冇問題咧，我哋就繼續 abstract 啦。我爭取唔再 break 啦，我哋就講落去，早啲俾你哋就最後一堂啦，冇咩特別嘅。我會講得太 detail，好似有種好想幫你哋 draft，好想幫你哋 draft 啲嘢咁樣嘅狀態。因為好多同學同我講，sorry，excuse me。有啲同學就同我講啊，之前完全冇做過 research 啊，我真係唔知點樣落手啊。咁我其實都係想你哋開始得冇咁辛苦，冇咁辛苦，有個 draft 啦，有個大綱啦，好似會容易啲咯，好似會容易容易開始。我覺得開始呢件事係最難嘅。你開始寫咧，你開始寫咧，寫下寫下就覺得越寫越容易啊。越寫越唔夠嘢，越唔夠字數去寫咯。好啦，abstract 係咪冇問題？你哋間 chart 有冇問題？冇問題，我哋就 move on to abstract 啦。好啦，都冇問題啊。冇人問問題，我就繼續啦。冇人問啦。abstract 咧 ，so abstract is a very short summary for your whole research. What should it include? What should your abstract include? You should have the research background. You should have the research questions, research methods, research plan, and expected findings. And the final thing is research significance. This one could be treated as a conclusion. Okay, so this is example. This is an example. What should you have? I should have one sentence about the background. Okay, I should have one to background of your topics. And then it's your study question. My research aims at what? You maybe have a one question, research question, or some sub questions. Okay, and then this is your question. This is your method. So I will find 3 trees in Hin Fa Chun. And what kind of data analysis method I will use? I will use a survey for pavement damage. Okay, and my purpose is what? I want to solve. I want to get what kind of information? The expected result. This is an expected result in the proposal. But in your final thesis, you still need to write an abstract. But in that abstract, you need to replace this with the real result. 個電腦越嚟越好。Result。OK， 因為你而家係 proposal 啊嘛，你未有 result 嘅，所以你應該用expected result。但係你如果已經有個 result 喺度啦，係 for 你個 FYP 嘅，你已經有個 result 喺度啦，你就需要用你真正嘅 findings 嚟填咗呢個地方。OK， 嚟填咗呢個地方。And then the significance， 佢有咩用處咧？其實就已經當係一個 conclusion 啦。所以個字數咧唔係好多嘅，咁呢個係好短嘅字數裡面咧去解決你嘅問題。Generally, abstract, the word number is around 200. Okay, different purpose have different limitations. Some journal papers, some journals, they limited the abstract within 220. Some they limited to 250. Most of the fundings they use 250, and sometimes they use 180. Okay, so generally around 200. Okay. It's more difficult if the words is limited. You only have 1 or 2 sentences. You are telling the stories using very short, very limited words, telling the whole story. Okay, so your abstract should involve all the informations. Okay, so your abstract should be very attractive. Okay, your abstract should be like this. 佢個廣告上邊嗰張圖，但係你其實實際上嘅嘢可能其實好細嘅啫。裏面嗰啲果醬啊、jam 啊，可能好細嘅啫。但係你嘅 abstract 點都要俾人嘅 feeling 係好高大上。OK， 咁先 attractive 嘅 ，because most of the situation they will focus more. They will read very, very carefully about your abstract. Okay, and then your whole content, they may just read it quite fast. They're just looking for the information they are interested in. Okay, so that's why your abstract is more important. Okay, and write an abstract for FYP is like you have a lot of guesses. You make it dense, and then you put everything in a small bottle. Okay, like the gases. You put all the important things, all the importance you want the other people to know in the small area. So this is abstract. This is a question about the abstract. What you should have in your abstract. This have flow. Okay, you see this has flow from background to questions, and then methodology, study plan, expect fundings, and then is research significance. 呢個係有 order 嘅，你要 follow 咁樣嘅 logic。你唔可以上嚟就寫我個 findings 係乜嘢，我點重要，咁我做過啲乜嘢 research， 人哋講咗啲乜嘢，呢個係唔得嘅。OK， 一定要 follow 呢個 order， OK， 咁你 research method 就係你嘅 chapter 3啦，你要揀咗邊啲 location 或者 species， 你點樣去 measure 嘅，點樣去做咗 control 嘅 ，OK， 咁你揀咗幾多 point number，OK， 呢啲嘢你都需要有，OK。 關於 abstract 有冇問題要問我？有冇問題要問？好清楚係咪 ？OK 嘅，我哋就繼續。Head list。咁裏面需要有啲乜嘢咧？What should you have? What should you have? We explained this already, so I will go through very quickly. I already write down the chapter, the structure of your final project, final proposal, right? So what should you have? You should have the background. You should have the literature review. In your literature review, you should involve the past findings, past methods they used, and any research gap. Okay, so make sure your coverage is broad. Make sure your knowledge is broad. The literature review include everything you could involve. OK， 你如果話literature review 淨係寫咗，譬如話學根病，我淨係揀咗呢個 species， 我淨係揀咗呢一個病 ，OK， 咁其實唔係好全面嘅 ，pest 好多隻，咁學根病點解重要咧？佢係其他 pest 裡面或者其他 disease 裡面，佢係邊一個 rules 咧？點解越嚟越多人中意佢咧？咁你就可以講啦，其實之前咧好多人係做緊咩研究，係 focus on 咩嘢嘅，而家咧大家就開始 focus on 佢啦。點解佢重要？佢會對嗰啲 plant 佢好容易傳染啦。OK， 或者譬如我做 heavy metal 嘅，我係用 plant 去 recover 呢個 land area 呢個 soil 去 remove 個 heavy metal， 但係我可以點樣咧？我應該點樣寫咧 ？plant 嘅 recovery 唔係唯一嘅，唔係 not the only choice you have. I have a lot of choices. I could use chemical method. I could have a physical method. Okay, each method has their own advantage and disadvantage. Chemical is quick, it's cheap. Physical is have less damage. Okay, but plant have their own rules. So in my literature review, I need to involve all this kind of method, not only focusing on the plant. Okay, so for example, I'm using GIS as a tool to do the plant survey. I want to conduct the tree survey by using GIS. I want to have a map, digital map. I want to make a database for the biodiversity study, or I want to do the video games for some kind of activity. So in your literature review, you could involve like in other studies used the game, used what kind of game, and this kind of game could be used for your purpose. Okay, because this kind of game will raise the other people's interests, will attract a lot more people to get involved. Okay, so you could involve all. This kind of game may concern about the social activity, about education, about economic development. Everything is okay, but the method is the same. So you could choose it. You could involve it. Okay, so make your picture bigger. Get a bigger picture in your literature review. Okay? And then is your research objective. So your research should be specific, clear. Make sure the other people read their title, read their question. They will know what do you want. Okay, so for example, I want to do the fertilizer. the studies on fertilizer. You do not just keep fertilizer on it. I don't know, what do you want? Okay, you could specific your question. So how did the different kinds of fertilizer affect the plant growth? Okay, this is a very specific question already. It should be measurable. You could measure it because I could measure the height. I could measure the leaf size, leaf number, the row size, fresh weight, dry weight. I could all the indicators could be measured. Okay, and it's easy to reach. So for example, I want to measure how many pests. I want to measure the pest situation. So what kind of pest? Maybe 紅蜘蛛。OK， 你哋知道紅蜘蛛係好細粒，跟住又成日跳嚟跳去嗰啲噶嘛，紅蜘蛛。咁我想 measure 嘅時候 ，OK， 我想 measure 我一個 plant 裏面我有幾多個紅蜘蛛？哇，數一樖數，呢個唔係 achievable 嘅，好難去做到呢件事嘅。OK， 咁我想睇我呢棵樹大樹啊，我講緊路邊嗰啲樹，我想睇佢個 row size， 佢個 crown size 呢啲 OK 嘅 ，DBH OK 嘅。但係你如果想睇，我想睇佢 total area total leaf area， 哇，點整啊？OK， so you need to think about the indicators you want to involve。OK， 冇玩自己，冇搞到自己好辛苦。OK，so and think about your time because your time is limited. Your time is limited. You are not doing a PhD, the study because 我可以 share 少少關於個 research 啊，你哋知，因為我都知道你哋有啲同學可能之後打算讀 PhD 啊，讀 master 啊 ，master 我 OK 嘅，我建議大家如果有機會，就算你哋出嚟做嘢，如果有機會可以讀翻個 master， 我好建議，我可以 encourage 你哋去讀嘅。但係 PhD 咧就慎重考慮清楚先去做呢件事。點解咧？我知道嘅唔同嘅學校啦，我身邊好多 PhD 朋友啦，咁我知道嘅有啲學校你要睇佢 follow 邊啲system， 你好似CU 啦、Hong Kong U 啦，佢應該都係 follow 嗰啲佢嘅有 scholarship 㗎，佢 scholarship 最長去到4年。咁你如果4年完唔到，你就冇 scholarship 啦。OK， 咁我都有師兄或者有朋友有做過呢件事，就係去到第3年或者第4年，我睇一睇我嘅 progress 或者睇一睇我嘅 result， 未去到我 supervisor 要求咁樣，咁啲人就會請 no pay leave， 就好似 extend 你嘅 study 咁樣，可能有半年係冇人工出嘅。但係你係冇 scholarship 出嘅，但係你都要照做，梗係你要照做啦，因為你其實個 scholarship 都唔少㗎，幾廿萬，但係你完全做唔到嘢出嚟咧，咁其實對你 supervisor 啦，對你嘅 funding 啦，對你嘅 department， 對你自己嘅 record 都唔好嘅 ，OK， 所以你都係要做嘅，要做嘢，咁 around 4年幾應該都有得畢業嘅。但係我都知道有啲學校好似點名好似唔係咁好。HKUST 咧係 follow 好似 America 唔會美國制，佢哋嘅 PhD 咧係冇一個特定嘅年限嘅，你一路讀，佢一路有scholarship 俾你。我識幾個人都係讀到5年、6年讀完嘅 PhD， 好 common 㗎，好正常㗎。OK， 所以你如果有咁長時間，你去做同一件事。你諗下，其實嗰個壓力好大嘅。你嘅 design 咧，你自己對你自己嘅生活嘅 plan 咧，你都要有影響啦，一定會有影響嘅。你冇話咁短嘅 project，within 4年，你呢4年或者你6年對將來嘅影響都好高嘅。OK， 我都有啲朋友係讀咗5年幾，佢真係諗住壓力太大啦，頂唔住啦，個 result 都未去到可以畢業嗰種條件。咁佢就轉翻 master 畢業就有 唔止一個。OK， 所以我都係你哋如果要讀呢啲咧，你哋可以考慮清楚。OK， 咁你如果4年、6年嘅時間做緊同一件事，咁你時間好足，我可以做得好 detail、好 deep。但係我哋講緊 FYP 係由幾月開始啊？你哋乖嘅可能去由7月3 sem 或者6月，你考完試啦，我呢一科交咗啦，交晒跟個 sem 嘅功課。我就開始揾自己 supervisor， 開始同 supervisor 傾，我要買乜嘢啊？我要做啲咩準備啊？我要係咪做 field trip study 啊？就開始呢個係最好嘅情況，好乖嘅學生，你可以去6月開始，一路去到幾時咧？去到4月尾，你就要交 final 嗰份啦。咁交 final 嗰份，中間你會遇到啲乜嘢咧？遇到 sem 1，你要交功課，要考試。最尾1-2個星期，你諗下你而家呢個狀態，你肯唔肯做 FYP 啊？好難。你仲遇到啲乜嘢啊？遇到 Christmas、Chinese New Year， 哇！之後疫情好返，要去旅行啊嘛，要去拍拖啊嘛，要去揾工啊嘛，又開始啦，要揾 intern 啊嘛。咁你個時間再短啲。OK， 所以你剩翻嘅時間好少㗎。我之前都講，你如果係種嘢嘅，3月份開始你先開始種，2月份開始種唔起㗎啦。真係種唔起㗎啦，講真，種唔起㗎啦。咁你如果 miss 咗個 period，你成件事就錯過咗啦。所以你個 time plan 咧，一定要考慮清楚。我之前同我 FYP 學生都係講，我預計你哋嘅 study plan timeline 係點樣咧？你6月份開始準備買嘢、種嘢、做 experiment、data collection，去到10月份之前，你應該完成晒基本嗰啲嘢啦。12月份之前，你應該全部 data collection 喺晒手上面啦。譬如話你做實驗嘅，你10月份攞到之後，你仲要去打機噶嘛？你仲要讀 NPK 噶嘛？唔係唔係好多時候唔係得你自己去搶噶嘛？你未必排到噶。OK，咁打完 NPK，佢嗰部機又好貴，又好容易壞，仲要買啲 consumable 嘅medical。chemical， 咁你呢啲嘢咧，你需要時間噶嘛？你去到12月份啦，呢啲全部應該整齊晒噶啦。咁你之後做緊乜嘢咧？data analysis，data analysis，你 data analysis 你要預1到2個月，你要整 chart， 你要整 SPSS， 好似你哋之前講 SPSS 我唔記得晒啦，還翻俾個老師啦，好正常。咁你要重新補翻啲功課啦，你要重新拎嘢啦。你 SPSS 做 data analysis 嘅時候就會發現，哦，原來 data 唔夠喎，我仲爭啲乜嘢啊？我有冇得補啊？仲要去做乜？仲要去補翻少少 data，呢個好 common 嘅。咁之後去到2月份啦，2月份過完年過完新年，3月份你又開始好似而家呢個時間，又開始做功課啦，要寫嘢啦。咁你仲有 preliminary 嘅 report、midterm report、final report， 你要寫噶嘛？寫完之後你要做 presentation， 你要做 poster。你諗下，其實時間唔夠噶，唔係好多噶。所以你個 timeline 咧，你 plan 嘅時候咧，suppose 應該係6月份去到4月中。OK， 你成份 data collection 同 data 相關嘅 data collection， 你唔理係 field data 定係 lab data， 你農曆新年最遲農曆新年或者元旦之前應該完成㗎啦。OK， 冇拖喺後面。你拖喺後面咧，有啲同學就話：我想去學校個 School of GL 改英文。你哋知道 School of GL 係可以幫你哋免費改英文㗎嘛？你哋可以知道，你哋應該知道有呢個 service 嘅。你哋啲功課啊、啲嘢啊，你可以拎去 School of GL Learning Commons， 佢係可以幫你 free 改一啲功課嘅 free 嘅。但係人哋都需要時間，你諗下，大家全部都堆晒去交 FYP 嘅時候，佢哋嘅時間都需要長啦。OK， 呢啲嘢你哋提前而家你哋就要諗清楚啦。OK， background。Okay, like I said, your study question need to be very specific. Very specific. OK， Okay, you need narrow down the research questions. Make sure it's specific. Sure, it's a question. You read your title. Will understand. They will get what you want. Okay. Hypothesis. What kind of data you assume? Like my hypothesis is I think the plant will reduce the urban heat island effect. The fertilizer, organic fertilizer, will have lower efficiency. Okay, so after the experiment, I will prove my hypothesis or reject my hypothesis. It's okay. Okay, so before the experiment, I think green color is the best, have the lowest efficiency to the plant growth. Okay, maybe after the plants, I think, oh, it's okay. Okay, you need to think about the reasons. Okay, is your hypothesis testable, rejectable, or acceptable? Okay, based on your hypothesis, based on your question, you define your methodology. Okay, so make sure you read a lot. Sometimes the student asks me, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to start. Okay, the supervisor will say, go find some references. Okay, this is your food. This is your coins. Okay, after that, you could start thinking. OK，開始嘅時候，未讀文嘅時候，都係坐喺度。點整啊？我之前都係咁，有時候之前，因為我 supervisor 係個女老師咧，好似阿媽咁樣，都係有時候好煩咁樣坐喺嗰度。點開始啊？唔知點寫啊？點開始啊？我要寫啲乜嘢啊？跟住佢都係會鬧我啦。去睇 paper，你唔睇 paper，你點知點寫啊？OK， 完全都唔知點開始，完全都唔知諗啲乜嘢，你要思考啲乜嘢。OK， 但係你睇完 paper， 你睇5份未 get 到，你睇10份就會突然間覺得，誒，好似呢個方向好易喎，好似另外一個 question 可以考慮下喎。睇完50份啦，你坐喺度嗰度，我就唔係揾佢噶啦，你就自己，我會覺得你唔好煩我，你俾啲時間我自己諗下。OK， 反倒係咁樣嘅，所以 read more。Make sure you get enough information. Make sure you get enough information. 你冇坐喺度就係空諗，就話啊，應該係點點嘅，一定係點點嘅，你唔知噶嘛。OK， 自己諗嘅唔計噶嘛。OK， 你要去 find support, find reference， 唔淨係 proposal 啊，唔淨係 research 啊，全部事都係㗎。就算你之後出嚟做嘢都係㗎。你冇坐喺嗰度諗出邊嘅世界係點樣嘅。OK， 你哋出去讀書一定會miss 讀書嘅時候，你之後出去做嘢一定係 miss 讀書嘅時候㗎。我而家都係㗎。OK， 好啦，我哋繼續。So make sure you read more papers, read more information, you get more knowledge. Okay, and research method. Like I said, a good research method is I give you this research proposal, this research method to another student, and then they will have, they could copy your research clearly. They will have no question. Okay, this is a good research proposal, research method. OK， 所以咧你要寫清楚，我要幾多盤，幾多咩 species， 幾高嘅，係 seed 開始定係 plant 開始？你如果係用 software 嘅，之前有人用 software 係用 join 嘅，咁我後尾有睇翻，其實唔係寫得好，我唔係覺得好好嘅，因為我睇完之後，哇！你用咗咩 software 啊？唔清楚嘅喎，你 software 你用咗邊 function 啊？咩嚟㗎？OK， 我唔熟嘅地方，我唔係做 surveying 噶嘛，我飛 join 飛得少噶嘛，咁我用邊一部 join， 你買咗邊一個 model， 你都冇寫到明，咁你唔同嘅 model 都唔同嘅喎，你係打 CFA 定係打UV， 咁你 check 出嚟嘅嘢唔同嘅喎。OK， 你開酸，你用鹽酸定係硫酸，你開出嚟嘅 concentration 唔同嘅喎。你個hydrogen 唔同嘅喎，你個 concentration 變晒嘅喎。OK， 你要知道，你要清楚的知道，你如果要模擬翻 acid rain 嘅，我要幾多 ml 嘅鹽酸加埋幾多 ml 嘅水 ，total 開咗幾多 ml 嘅 solution。OK， so make sure your research method is clear. About study location, you need to think about which area. Okay, so maybe Chawan Park. What is boundary? Where is a location? What does it look like? Make sure you could use some maps, some figures to support, to help you to illustrate the information you want to deliver. Okay, an instrument, what kind of equipment you want to use, which model you want to use, what kind of function you want to use, what kind of chemical you want to use. You could also find some pictures, some figures. You could use it. You could involve it in your picture, in your proposal. Well, helpful. It's helpful. It's much more attractive. It's much attractive. Okay. And research design, what kind of variables is dependent variables. Okay. If you want to set the experiment, you have only one factor different. Okay. So maybe I want to do the acid rain. I have 2.5, I have 3.5, I have 5.5. Some is in the indoor area, some is outdoor area. Some have I put the acid rain twice a day. Some I put once a week. Okay, all the indicators are different. It's not make sense. You cannot comparison. You don't know which factor is a main factor. Okay, so design your research, design your experiment, make sense, have meanings, okay, and could be repeated by the other people. Okay, so what kind of statistic method you want to use? You have SPSS, you could search what kind of function you want to use. You have Excel, what kind of figure you want to use. It's okay. Okay, so like that, like this, you need to read, you have more resources you need, and the outcome may be very simple. Very simple. Okay, so about the content, do you have any questions about the content of the final research proposal? 冇問題，冇問題，我哋就記住啦。Formatting, okay, like I said, formatting is the easiest way to get higher grade. Okay, so make sure your formatting is good. So what is good formatting? You have cover page, you have table of contents, you have a table of figures, table of maps, table of tables. Okay, all this kind of elements. And also you will see the structures. I have chapter 1, chapter 1.1, 2.2, 2.3. Okay, each one have a subtitle. It's making sense. Okay, I have telling stories step by step. Okay, and you could have different headings, subheadings. Each headings have different formatting, font size. Okay, table of content. You have shootable paragraph. Okay, do not use the paragraph first too short. Sometimes I saw the literature review like a paper summary. Each paper is a paragraph. It's not like that. It's telling stories. You have topic sentence, and then you have different statements to support your questions. Okay, and use good figures. Good good figure, you have name, you have X, Y, you have the purpose, you have a figure number. Okay, this is good figures. This is good figures too. So you have a small comparison. Okay, each figure have explained clearly. Okay, and also sometimes the figures should have the caption. Okay, so the caption is under table name, and the font size is different. Font size is different. Okay, and also the number is clear. The column name is clear. Okay, and this is bad figures. Okay, it's very mess. Series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does it mean? I don't understand. Okay, and you see the X. Okay, 0.000乜嘢？0.00、0.01、0.11。Okay, sometimes have overlap. I cannot read it clearly. Okay, so this is bad example. And I saw some figures, some proposals, just copy and paste. They copy the Excel like this. They copy the figures in Excel or SPSS just like this. So which data should I see? Okay, have a lot of figures. Which one is important? Which one you want to explain? Which one helps you to accept your hypothesis or reject your hypothesis? Okay, so do not use direct copy and paste. It's not make sense. Okay, and sometimes you don't have unit, you don't have meanings. It's not clear, it's not making sense. And sometimes you put it wrong. You put the table, the name in the wrong direction. Okay, so table should be above, right? And the title is clear. Do not use a caption. Do not use the website as a title. You should have the shipable titles. Okay, or sometimes your table is having too many words. Okay, it's not easy understanding, not clear to read. Okay, so each figures you should have referred to these figures. Okay, like 我哋頭先啱啱講咗，你所有嘅 figure 你要有 paragraph text 去解釋嘅。你解釋嘅時候要 refer 翻邊一個 figure。OK， 你冇咗張圖，你冇咗一張圖出咗嚟啦啊 ，figure 3 figure 咩？我全文都揾唔到有一段或者有一句係解釋呢個嘅。OK， not make sense, not clear, not good. OK， and then you should merge all the sections of a proposal with good logic and good formatting. Okay. The common mistake is like in your mind, in your head. It's so beautiful. The picture is very clear, very attractive, but the things you draw or you wrote is not so good. Okay, it's have limited information. Okay, so make sure you have all the compulsory elements. Make sure you have good formatting. Okay, so this is all for the final proposal. Do you have any questions? 有冇問題？有冇問題？如果冇問題咧，我哋今日就到呢度啦。我哋中間冇咩 break， 所以就早啲放你哋，早啲放你哋去食飯。OK， 有冇問題？有冇嘢想問我？ 我呢個 PowerPoint 我遲啲會擺上去嘅，會擺上去 Moodle 嘅，冇問題啊，清楚啊？我希望交上嚟嘅嘢，最尾一份係40%喎，我希望交上嚟嘅嘢係好，係 with good quality。OK，咁你哋之後見個 supervisor 嘅時候都可以 confident 啲啦，你都話我其實都已經做咗好多 literature review 噶啦，我個 content 都好 rich 啊。OK。係啦，如果未交今日功課嘅咧，就盡快交咗佢啦，已經過咗 deadline 啦，好嘛？咁如果 OK 嘅，可以離開啦。我想留一留低，唔係留一留低啦。Joey，你揾一揾我啊，我揾你有啲嘢。我見到好似 Joey 喺度嘅，係咪啊？你揾一揾我啊。其他冇咩特別啦。咁我哋下個星期係 public holiday，下個星期我哋係冇堂嘅，下個星期我哋係冇堂嘅。再下一個星期22號嗰個星期咧，我哋都會有個 consultation hour 嘅，我會提前喺 WhatsApp group 裡面睇一睇大家。OK，我哋都會有個 WhatsApp group，都會有個 consultation hour for final 嗰份 proposal 嘅。我都係建議你哋到時候已經寫得七七八八啦，寫得七七八八啦。OK，咁你先知道，你先有問題可以問我，或者先有嘢 show 俾我睇啊，係咪漏咗啲乜嘢啊？O 唔 OK 啊？咁樣咯，好嘛？好啦，咁如果冇咩問題咧，就可以 say 拜拜啦。下個星期見啊，下個星期見啊，下個星期係 Easter 啊，大家好好地休息下啦。OK，好啦，拜拜啦。